This video is gonna be a bit of a quickie because I was busy yesterday. I was kind of at Red Leaf Exotics. And I was gonna do a Rusty Exotics video, but the audio got completely destroyed.
It better work. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be so mad.
I'm never using those mics again. Those things sucked. Don't buy those. I'll never get that $20 back. But this is a video I've been wanting to make for a little bit. Because this is a video just to show you guys that it's totally possible to grow Nepenthes in the most rock bottom setup like this. Shut up. Why is that light still on? I replaced your filter. So one thing about this setup that's pretty iconic is that it is not your conventional grow tent. I'd like to have an actual grow tent, but I don't have actual grow tent money. Maybe I should save up for a grow tent instead of buying more plants. Nah, that's crazy. Also, spoilers for a bunch of the new plants I got. I got so many new plants to the point where I had to clear off a lot of space down here. Had to move a bunch of orchids upstairs. That way, once these plants get big, but I really want to show you guys just how little you really need to properly grow Nepenthes. I mean, I could successfully grow a Veitchii in here. There's beans. That picture's just getting ready to open. Oh my goodness. Or my Spectacles Veitchii. This thing is gorgeous. It totally works in this setup and the sundews do well. If you have a small Nepenthes collection, you got stuff like Ventradas or maybe Mirandas. Yeah, it'll do just fine for you. Heck, I could grow a Cephalotus in here. Even a Heliumphora. It's growing slowly, but it's growing. Here's a disclaimer here. Is this the perfect, ideal setup? No, it's actually pretty cursed, I'm not gonna lie. But it just works. It's very good for people on a budget like me. And shoot, if you're just starting off with them. Heck, I just started off this year. And this setup is what... And this setup is what really got me into Nepenthes this year. Because earlier, I wasn't really that interested in them. I've always liked Nepenthes, but I was always a Sarracenia person because, in my opinion, at that time, I thought they were much easier to grow. But now with this setup, these are way easier to grow than Sarracenia. Oh my god. So what do I do? Step one, buy one of those cheap disposable greenhouses from Lowe's. You can get them very, very cheap. I think I paid like $70 for this thing. Comes with shelving. It's actually quite roomy. There's a way I could put a decent grow light right here. I could put plants on these shelves right here. That could save up a lot of space. Because you can see how many plants I have in here right now. Technically, I'm only using about half the space. If I can get creative, I could really cram a bunch of plants in here. On the floor, I just use a tarp. It's literally a $5 Harbor Freight tarp. Nothing special. That way I just don't get the floors dirty. Also, when I do spray around, it doesn't get on the actual floor. It just gets on the tarp. That'd be good if you have like carpet, vinyl, even hardwood. Basically any floor. Well, what about grow lights? Those are pretty expensive. No, I literally got the cheapest grow lights I could find. These were $20 at Lowe's. This blurple light here was $10 at Lowe's. And it's actually working pretty decent. I just hate that it's a blurple. And the most expensive light here, after taxes, I paid $25 at Harbor Freight. I used to have like a chicken coop lamp, and I actually had like one of those cheap grow lights, and that light was actually so intense. It was turning the leaves like on the Miranda and on the Sanguinea right here, very, very red. Look what it did to the Cephalotus. That light was so intense I actually had to remove it. But yeah, these lights are great. They're not powerful either. They take up so little. They won't really rack up your electric bill either. It's great. It's literally a win-win situation. And like I said, I could comfortably grow like Veitchii. Of course, a bunch of really, really nice hybrids. Now, what about humidity? You can see it's getting a little bit lower because this door is open. Well, I wouldn't really call this a door. It's the entrance. Who cares what it is? Well, essentially what I do is I just take one of these. These go for like $7 at Lowe's. La, 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 la. I don't really like spraying directly on the plants anymore. I used to. I heard that some Nepenthes really don't like that. So I just choose not to. It's just a light mist. And that humidity should come up later. Ignore that 57. Oh, it went up. Ignore that 57, please. It just, I was gone all day yesterday. That's the one Achilles heel of this setup. I don't have a humidifier. I'd like to get me one and just put it on a timer and just forget about it. And I know that it would make humidity way more consistent. Whoa. But I usually try to keep it around the 75 and 90% mark. Try to keep it consistent. Pretty much I just spray in here 2-3 times a day maybe. And one thing about Nepenthes, they actually like a pretty decent nighttime drop. It did not have a good nighttime drop yesterday. Normally the high is like 78 and then the low would be like 64. And what I do is I actually have a little fan right here. And no, this is not an expensive greenhouse fan. This thing was like $12 at Walmart. Hook this thing up to a timer at night and this thing blows full blast. It allows airflow in here and it drops the temperature down at night. And what about ventilation? Well, my dumbass has an air purifier. It works, okay? It works. It doesn't smell bad in here, nor have I ever had any mold problems from it, so it works. And you might think, oh, it probably just doesn't get moldy in here in the first place. Well, that's not true, because the reason why I put this in here is because I was having a slight mold problem, but not anymore. Like I said, it smells nice and fresh in here. Well, it kind of just smells like wet sphagnum moss. And like I said, these Nepenthes grow well for me. I always forget, I put one of those reflective visors you put on your car. Like I said, this setup is so cursed but it somehow works. It really just shows you don't need a big fancy greenhouse to grow these plants. But yeah, I literally just leave this thing on full blast pretty much all the time. The only time I turn it off is when I'm filming, because I don't know, the sound is kind of distracting. But yeah, it just works. Would I put a Velosa in here? No. Would I put a fancy helium-4 in here? Absolutely not. Heterodoxa by mine is pretty much the bottom of the barrel when it comes to helium-4. It's growing, it's fine, but I wouldn't put like a Saracenoides in here. And again, there's just some Nepenthes out there that are just really hard to grow. I would not recommend this type of setup for plants like that. If you have simple hybrids, especially Ventricosa hybrids, or a hybrid like this, this is real. I'm loving this little fat ass already. But yeah, Nepenthes hybrids would do great because they're a lot hardier, take a much wider range of temperatures, they grow a lot quicker as well. They're just much more tolerant. Pure species or some plants that are like ultra highland or some that are lowland would not really work in a setup like this. You can't grow a lowland Nepenthes in here, but you need to add some kind of heating system in here, or maybe heating pads. I thought about giving that a shot, but I'm afraid I'll hurt the other plants in here. So which means I'd probably have to build my own lowland chamber. And I'm sorry, I'm probably not gonna do that. I really don't care that much for lowland Nepenthes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a simple video, just showing off what I do with my setup and what I do to maintain my plants. It's stupid, it's scuffed, but it works. And I can't be mad at it. But yeah, that's about it. See y'all, be careful.